Welcome to the podcast Stories of Wholeness. You'll find stories from people who have chosen to look deeper within themselves. They have been brave enough to start revealing their inner wholeness and cultivating natural inner resources. This way, they are able to share their true gifts with the entire world.
Hey, my name is Ilze, and I'm the host of this podcast, Stories of Wholeness. Today I am talking with Bogdan. Bogdan is a 35 years old man from Romania. Putting aside his high school dream of becoming a musician, Bogdan has become a wonderful human development guide, trainer and mentor. Through different programs and projects, he is encouraging people to go deeper into themselves, like mining for own treasures. In this podcast, Bogdan is sharing his very personal and practical inner work process. We are also talking about the importance of mature masculinity and the value of men's work, meaning what might be the benefit of boys and men having their separate, safe space to express what they need to express. For the next half an hour, I invite you really to enjoy Bogdan's calm and steady way of being. Welcome, Bogdan, to our podcast, Stories of Wholeness. I'm really happy that you agreed to talk and to share your story. And my first question to you, as to every guest, is who are you today?
Yes, it's really interesting because this morning I made a presentation that I want to put for a new program that I'm launching. So it's quite fresh, so I can answer straight away to this question. I like to think that I'm a nature-based human development guide. Someone who is involved in human development, and I work with people. I do workshops, trainings, programs, exchanges, different events that help people grow and become more whole. And I like to think that I'm also someone who inspires people to become better and to make a positive change in the society. And I'm a man, I'm a Romanian, and I'm also a global citizen.
That's a wide range of things and creatures you are.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And how come you are in this work? You are in this human nature-based guide and all the things that you mentioned.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I studied economy. So I graduated. I have a bachelor degree in economics, but somehow I never felt attracted to this area. But when I was a student, I got engaged in different student organizations and NGOs as a volunteer. And this is where I discovered non-formal education and youth work. And later on, after my studies, I was an European volunteer in the Netherlands in a youth organization. And this is where, a whole new world opened to me. The world of youth work, and I got really interested. I felt in my flow, in my element, and I decided just to keep walking on this path. And here I am a couple of years later, having my own NGO, doing projects for young people, and including more and more nature in my practice, in my methodology, let's say.
And who would you say you were before coming to this concept of wholeness and Bill Plotkin, as you're also involved in this work?
Yeah, I think I was a curious young man. I think this curiosity characterized me throughout my life, being curious to explore myself, to explore the world, to understand, to travel. So I started just by following my curiosity. I even remember that at one point I wanted to be a musician, a rock star, imagining myself being on a stage and performing music for the people. So I was an explorer, a curious person, and this led me to as I told you before, to youth work, non-formal education. And by being in this field, at one point I discovered Bill Plotkin's work and these ideas of wholeness and inner work and inner resources.
How come you didn't become a musician?
Yeah, well, I remember the moment I was in my second year of university, and I was taking bass guitar lessons, and I really liked it, but I felt that I started too late because I started, playing music around the age of 1920, which for me at that time was quite late, and I had to do a lot of work to, get better. And it was like, playing music for a couple of hours a day, and I was in my room and reflecting on this, and I said, well, it's the investment is too much. I'm not willing to pay the price. So I just said that, okay, I will keep it as a hobby, but not as a career or a profession. Yeah. Yeah, but music is always present, and nowadays it's even more present than before. And I'm playing guitar and djembe, and I'm trying to bring music and my musical skills in the work that I do.
I would never imagine you as a musician. Thank you for sharing this detail. It's something new.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
When you started to discover more of Bill Plotkin's work and Map of Wholeness, which resources you realized you lacked to live more holy life?
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah, when I discovered his book Wild Mind, which is a book primarily focused on wholeness and inner resources. For me, that was a new language and a new territory, and I felt, wow, I'm kind of liking all of them in a way, because I was not so aware that these resources exist within me. And I believe that, the wildness was something that was missing. And when I say wildness I'm referring to, freedom of being myself, authenticity, really feeling my body and being connected with my body, and also some kind of spontaneity and imagination, creativity. I was kind of lacking those resources. Yeah.
What encouraged you to start developing those resources?
When I discovered this map, the Map of Wholeness, I was really struck by it. And I remember that I had the thought that this is what I was looking for. My 20s, in my 20s, I was looking for a model or for some ideas that speak to me in the way this model spoke. Because there was this strong resonance with this model, I felt that I want to use it and I want to incorporate it and I want to dive deeper into each of the four directions, into each category of resources. And in a way, I felt that they are all equally important. For some, I have a tendency to manifest them more easily. Maybe my personality is more filled with some resources, some ways of being, while others are not coming that naturally for me to embody. So I need to focus myself with more consciousness and discipline to cultivate them.
That sounds very serious, like a serious job to do. How do you feel this working on yourself, or how you call it?
Yeah. I give different names to this work. sometimes I call it inner work because it's a process of exploring our inner world, our inner resources, and going deeper and deeper into ourselves, just like mining, going into the depths of the earth and finding different precious stones and metals. And these are, in a way, our inner resources. So on one hand, I call it, inner work, or with other words, I can say it's self-discovery. Just discovering myself, who I am, what are my talents, my gifts, my meaning, my callings. So these are the two names that come to my mind in this moment.
Mm-hmm. And how is your process and with this your personal inner work? Mm-hmm. How do you find it? How do you feel it?
I love working with myself, on myself. It's something that I felt attracted to since I finished high school. And I constantly work on myself. I think every day, either through reading, through journaling, through reflecting. I believe that I have a very strong introspective part of me, and that I like to analyze and to reflect on myself, on my behaviors. So by spending time with myself in silence, reflecting on my behavior, it's a way of working with myself. I also have some mentors that I meet from time to time, and that they guide me through questions and mirrorings and invitations. That's another powerful way of working on myself. And being in the mindful and mature relationships with friends that offer me reflections, and we debate different topics. That's also another way through which I work with myself. And just to mention nature, being present in nature, wandering in nature, just going out for walks in nature, that's a great thing as well.
And can you share some challenges that you have faced during discovering yourself and going deeper into yourself?
Yeah. Well, one challenge that I'm facing from time to time is after I go through a process of inner work. Let's say I go to a program, training, or an immersion into nature, I gain a lot of value and I gain beautiful insights. But then I return home in my daily life, and it's a little bit sometimes challenging to embody those resources or those insights. And sometimes I can forget about what I have discovered and what I'm carrying with me. And I can easily be drawn into this, daily routine of, work, sleep. And then that's a challenge. And another challenging element is that sometimes my critical voices, my inner critic, can get activated and disagree with my insights, with my dreams, or with my callings, and use his favorite tool of criticizing me and diminishing my insights and saying, well, who do you think you are for doing this or that? And it's too much, just take a break, don't do it. So I see these two as challenging forces, let's say.
I resonate with this a lot, for sure, and I believe that many people in this world can resonate with this inner critic and kind of getting lost in this everyday life after insights. So what are your personal ways how you talk to your inner critic, how you manage this?
Well, I can tell you what I did yesterday, because yesterday I felt the presence of my critic, and it was a bit surprising. He was really worried, and something that helped me to shift from that kind of place, from that kind of consciousness into my wholeness was, on one hand, breathing. I felt that I had to breathe deeply and just take a moment and bring the breath from my chest down into my belly, and so breathing with consciousness. Another thing is to work with some affirmations, which I believe they are voices from my wholeness. And one affirmation that I'm working with these days is that everything is going to be okay. So I was trying to repeat to myself that everything is going to be okay, and everything that happens is part of a bigger picture, a bigger play, and I need to trust. So yeah, allowing my wholeness to speak with empowering words, just like this, that everything is going to be okay, just trust. Life has ups and downs, and maybe now you're in a lower phase, but after a lower phase, there's always a higher phase. So yeah. And going
And
into nature.
Okay. How is your inner critic reacting to this? Is your inner critic always taking that those affirmations in?
Well, yesterday when I was doing this flow, this process, I was super surprised to see how much my energy shifted and how much I relaxed, and I began to trust and feel comfortable. And I believe that these voices spoke to my critic, and he calmed himself, and he made space for a different kind of energy.
I'm really grateful for you daring to share this, your very personal process, actually. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And you speak very calm, and you also hold space for other people to go deeper within themselves and to find something, their wholeness and their inner critics and voices. I would like you to share that part of the story, how you started to go deeper into men's work, because that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have this conversation with you, to give your insights about men's work and about youth work with the young male especially. So maybe you can share the story how you started to go deeper into men's work.
Yeah. Well, in my early 30s, I felt that something is shifting inside of me, something that is related to my masculinity. And I felt that I was going through some, let's say, challenging times, experiences that in a way exposed me to the idea of masculinity and what it means to be a man. Because in some moments in my early 30s, I didn't feel that I'm man enough, let's say. And having these questions and these inner waters moving, I felt drawn to exploring this. And the easiest way for me was through books and through reading. So I discovered some precious books that spoke about masculinity and an initiation of man, and some beautiful role models, elders that were speaking about this. And lots of these messages found places in my heart. They spoke to something deep inside of me, and I was really blown away by this. I said, wow, if these messages speak so loud and so deep inside of me, it means that there is something there. And then I continue, and I went through different programs related to masculinity, and gathering with other men in circles, and I felt the beauty and the value of this kind of work. And being a human development guide and working with people, I felt that is quite natural for me also to do programs and events, especially for men, and to speak about these big topics that are in a way related to manhood and masculinity and what it means to be a man.
Why do you think it's important to kind of separate men, women? What do you find valuable working directly with men?
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe that when men gather and there's a group only of men, the energy is a little bit different. And I think men can put down the shield and the armor much easily in a way. Because if men are in a mixed group, maybe there's a tendency to, I want to be liked by some women in the group, or I want to show off myself more and to be the one that is liked more by the others. And so there are specific dynamics that can come up in mixed groups. But when we are only men, I think we are more raw and honest, and we can speak in a way that is more common to men in a way, and we can share stories that most men can relate to. And this is something that I really love, that when some men share deep stories, in a way we all can relate to that, and we can all feel the sense of brotherhood and the sense of belonging and being equal. And this maybe normalizes some of our challenges and brings more humility and healing and vulnerability, makes us be more in touch with our emotions.
What would you say are three biggest challenges in this society of ours, in this culture, for men and for young men?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the big challenges is the lack of authentic, mature, healthy male role models. It's so important to have male models, elders that can show to younger men how to be a mature and healthy man. So that's a challenge, the lack of models. Another challenge, I think, there's a lot of pressure on men, on performing, on doing, on being, on achieving. And this puts the pressure on men for not being weak, not showing their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities. So very often men surround themselves with armors and shields, and we carry masks of being strong and impenetrable, and that we need to conquer and hold to all the difficulties. But actually behind those protections there's a lot of anger and pain and lots of struggles. And this leads me to another challenge, is the lack of safe spaces where men can become vulnerable and open themselves and share what's in their heart. Because I think for women, in a way, it's easier to gather around a cup of coffee or tea and just to speak what's in your lives and to ventilate your emotions. But for men, because we miss the training and this kind of context, it's harder to express what's in the heart. So I think many men are struggling with deep and strong emotions.
I find that that challenges are different and at the same time very similar to men and women, and or people with male bodies and female bodies, and also this environment that we grow up in. Is it more kind of this masculine or feminine or whatever? Call it whatever way you want it, or flowy or something. And you mentioned that at some point you felt like you were not man enough. What is man enough to you now at this moment?
Yeah. Yeah, a few years ago, I was in a way unable to call myself a man. So this made me think that I don't feel man enough. Now I can say that I'm more man than a few years ago, and I feel that I'm embodying more the mature masculine archetypes. What makes me feel more man is that I can be in touch more with 4 masculine archetypes and energies: the archetype of the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. So I believe that in order to grow our manhoods, grow into manhood, we need to get in touch with these 4 energies, and they come.
Could you please explain a bit more what do you mean with those archetypes and energies?
I will. This is really interesting because these 4 archetypes are also expressions of wholeness. And so the king is our capacity to create order, to create fertility, to create abundance in our lives and around us, is someone that is holding space for others, is someone who's listening, offering blessings, mirroring, someone who is a calm presence, who has a big picture and who is in service of the greater good. So this is, in few words, the king energy. That figure that is holding the kingdom, the kingdom being a family, a community, a business. Then there is the warrior. That's part of ourselves that relates to being disciplined, being aware, being perseverant, enduring efforts for serving the greater good. So in a way, the warriors is in service of the king, is that part that is holding boundaries, that is, doing the physical exercises that are required to have a healthy and strong body. Then there is the magician, and the magician is that part of ourselves that is attracted and interested and connected with the invisible realms, let's say. That part, the magician, is bringing me into my inner world, into the world of my soul, into the hidden places of my heart. But it's also that part that is connecting me with the spirit, with the mysteries, with the creator, the divine, however one person wants to call it. And the lover is that energy, that archetype that makes me a manifestation of love. Either compassionate love, erotic, sensual love, romantic love, is that part that makes me love life, love other beings, love the earth, being in touch with emotions, expressing emotions. So when a male is getting in touch with these energies and cultivating these 4 archetypes, he's becoming more man, or he's becoming a mature man. And this process is a lifelong process, Some people say that one become a king only after 50. But I believe that we all have these energies and we can all access them in certain ways.
Why in your feeling it's worth to be a man, to be a mature man, and what it gives the world?
Many people say that most of the men nowadays are boys. Even though they are 40, 50, 60, 70, they are still stuck in boys' psychology. So they are behaving like teenagers, like bullies, like tyrants. So I believe it's really important to be a mature man, because mature men do not exploit the earth, do not exploit other people. but they enhance life, they serve life, they help the ecosystem regenerate, they help people flourish. Mature men defend the universal values and principles. They defend what is important for life. They defend those who maybe are weaker, those who are with fewer opportunities, and so on and so forth. So it's really important to have mature masculinity in the world.
Thank you very much for giving more insights into these archetypes and men's work. And for the end of the podcast and our conversation, I would like you to ask at this moment, right now, what would be one specific practice that you would like to share? Which is your favorite practice that has been very influential to you, that other people might also use in cultivating inner resources?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Allow me to share two practices.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah. One is by far wandering in nature. Whenever someone is close to nature, a park, a forest, a hill, a meadow, a beach, for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, just wandering aimlessly, going out there, letting the body lead, curiosity lead, and just being without any agenda, without any expectation, just wandering, going left or right, laying in the grass, jumping, singing, running. And lots of beautiful things can happen because our system knows what to do in that kind of moment, and the mind is quiet, and the body and the soul and the higher self, they can interact with nature. So this is one practice. It can be done anywhere for any time between 15 minutes to 1 day. And the second practice is journaling, writing in the journal thoughts, words from wholeness, what our wholeness wants to say. And it can be done in 1 minute, 1 minute journaling every day for 5 minutes or for longer time. Just journaling, letting our thoughts be put on the page.
Would you suggest any specific question that a person might start with if the person has no idea what wholeness is and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, a question can be, write about how do you feel in this moment. Just write down the way you feel in this moment. You can write one thing you're grateful for in this moment. Or what I like to do is in the beginning of the day or the week to write down my intentions. What do I want from this day? How do I want to be? How do I want to behave? So writing down intentions, because intentions are always in a way empowering and positive, and intentions take our mind into a higher vibration, let's say. So write one intention for the day in 1 minute, and you see what magic can happen.
I wonder what magic can happen, but I guess listeners, if trying, listeners need to discover it themselves. Yes, nobody can tell what can happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for those two practices. My final question and invitation to you is to say exactly maybe what comes up right now in this moment, what wholeness is to you right at this moment.
Yeah. Right in this moment, I would say that wholeness is speaking your truth, being authentic, and having courage for being who you are. Truth, courage, awareness, and speaking up. Yeah.
Okay, then I have one more question. Final question. What truth do you want to reveal to the world in this year?
Well, I would say that I want to reveal more to the world my king and my lover. I want to reveal more abundance, the abundance that is inside of me and the abundance that is around me. I want to reveal that and offer it to the world, and to be more a king for my kingdom, metaphorical kingdom, and the lover to be an expression of love, to love in any kind of way. There is a beautiful saying, love and do whatever. So in a way, to show myself to the world as a presence of love. I don't know how this would happen, but I trust the process and I trust my wholeness.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful ending of this conversation. Thank you very much for dedicating the time and sharing your story and sharing your insights.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure and a great honor, and congratulations for the work that you do through this project. I hope it will reach as many people as possible.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. If you want to dig deeper into the Art of Wholeness, make sure you follow us on Facebook or on our Instagram page. Details in the description section below. The podcast Stories of Wholeness is part of the Art of Wholeness, innovative tools and practices for inclusion of vulnerable young people. This project was possible through the Erasmus Plus program, a European Union initiative.